They strapped me down. They put me in 4-point restraints in the psych ward. And I'm not gonna lie, after a little bit, that panic started to set in.
We are living in a psych ward. I'm quite sure this is psych ward. I'm quite sure.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another segment of Jay's Psych Ward Stories. Now today, this Psych Ward story is about me. After working in the psych ward, it was a time where we had to train a couple of the new technicians, and they decided to do something new, and I volunteered to be a part of it. And that was to teach them how to put on 4-point restraints by using a volunteer. Now, I think that this is a good idea, and much like how police have to get tased in order to be initiated, I think it might be beneficial to have psych workers have to lay down on these beds and get put into 4-point restraints, not only so they can learn how to properly apply everything, but so they can know what it's like to be in those restraints as the patient, okay? Because after I got into those restraints, it gave me a different perspective. Now, y'all know me. I'm not no abusive type of individual. They called me the patient whisperer because I could verbally de-escalate patients that were about to be violent or had the potential to be. That was my nickname. That's my MO. But sometimes we had to strap patients down. Sometimes they would get violent and they would be a danger to themselves or others, and we gotta pull out those straps. There's different ones. There's the leather straps, but then there's the Velcro straps that kind of interlock, and we had to be trained on both because there was a time where they updated the restraints that we had to use. Now, you might be hearing restraints and think that this is an inhumane act altogether, and I'm not gonna disagree with you 100% because depending on how it's used, it can be inhumane. Psych wards dating back to the 60s, it gets really dark, actually really experimental, and I really sometimes can't even understand how these facilities are running today. But a lot of evolving has taken place. There are ways that people can actually get help from these places, but there are certain things that are still here from the early Freud days, and I'm not even done studying Freud because boy, what I found so far will bake yo noodle. But yes, psych wards used to commonly do practices that are completely inhumane and disregard human rights, right? Like I used to work with some individuals that cut the ribbon on the facilities that I was working at. And they used to tell me stories about how when patients got out of line, they would get a big mattress and ram them into the wall, and staff would just hold them there until they calmed down. Like what? I'm sure if you're a patient in there and you've seen any of that stuff, you're like, oh my God, get me up out of here. You know, you had the straight jackets, a lot of things that they don't do these days. So during a time where a patient is acting out, as we put it, they are given a warning, okay? So let's say they start destroying things, throwing things. You'd be surprised at how much time a patient has during an acting out stage before they actually get strapped down. Now, if you're throwing something, right, and it's nobody's around and you're not trying to hurt anybody, you could still get away with just getting what they call that booty dart injection, and you could go lay down in your room and calm down, and we just count whatever you did as just a little bit of a breakdown. But if you do end up trying to hurt yourself, like some people punching themselves in the head or trying to hurt others, that is where you will be put in those 4-point restraints. You have to get escorted by staff, hopefully under your own power, down to the seclusion room. Or for some facilities that I worked in, all of the beds had the ability for straps to be put on them and for you to not even have to leave your room. You'll just be strapped right there in your room. But in this facility that I was working at, they had a seclusion room away from all of the patient rooms so that if you are yelling and cursing or whatever the case may be, once the door is closed, it is pretty much soundproof and it won't bother anybody else. And so when we're in the seclusion room and we're showing the technicians about the camera, how we can watch the patients and just the bed and how the straps work, the supervisor asked, now who wants to volunteer to be strapped down? And it was almost jokingly because everybody kind of starts to laugh as if it was a joke. But I kind of knew that this might be serious, and I impulsively, for reasons that I still can't understand to this day, was like,
I volunteer as tribute.
They said, great, Jay, all right, hop on. So I get onto the bed and they start describing the different ways in which you need to hold a patient down. I had to simulate acting out of character and everything like that. And I just didn't act like soft movements and child's play. I'm like, no, y'all really gonna understand what it's like for a patient that wants to attack you. I'm moving, I'm getting out of the holds that they put me down, and they're like, no, you have to do it like this. So more male staff comes to get involved, actually holding me down. This time I'll oblige because I'm like, it's getting a little bit too real up in here. I might smack somebody. And so they put the straps on properly. We get the first one on. And you know what, y'all? I was thinking, we might do one or two, one or two. But nah, they get the first one on. Then they get the second one on. Then they get my leg, my ankle, then they get the other ankle. And after they strapped me down finally, because I did let them actually do it right after they kind of got down to the nitty gritty, I had to test to see how strong they were and try to escape. And as I'm pulling and resisting, it's not working. And I'm looking at all the staff staring and looking at me, and they're like, uh-oh, this is the real deal. And I'm keeping my cool, but on the inside of my head, I'm like, actually, the fact that I can't get up right now is a little unsensing. It's a little animalistic. Now, if I was actually trying to hurt myself or somebody else, it is what it is. You're gonna have to deal with those feelings, and it's for everybody's protection. But it gave me a deep respect for delaying the process of tying somebody down or strapping somebody down. And again, like I told y'all before, I wasn't no type of strap you down happy individual anyways, because I usually would try to talk people down. But if they did get violent, it is what it is. But it gave me more pause to make sure that when I'm talking with patients, I'm like, listen, I really don't want them to go and do that route. You're better than this. I would rather you find a way to ventilate your stress. Let's talk, let's go for a walk. Maybe let's go to the courtyard outside. You're better than being strapped down. It really just gave me more ways to be able to talk to patients and remind them of their humanity and their dignity. And it also served as a backhanded, like, don't forget, you will get strapped down now, because if they did need to get strapped down, some people need to be reminded of that. But if you use it like a threat, or you use it like a way to remind them of their vulnerability, then that is just already the wrong approach. So yeah, being strapped down definitely taught me and gave me a different perspective on straps in this psych ward. But it made me also wish that more people in the ward had to get tied down too, because there were a lot of strap happy individuals in that psych ward that always kept them restraints ready. I remember this one dude I used to work with that whenever things got up, he made a scene about going into the back room and coming out with a bag of straps and just dropping it on the desk in order for people to know, try me if you want to. I don't like those intimidation tactics. Like, if you're coming to the psych ward as a worker and you're looking to cross people's T's and dot people's I's rather than to be ready to help and assist them when they're already having a hard mental time, I think those people already have the wrong mindset, and they need to be strapped down. Because those are the people that, when they get to being strapped down, you see a whole nother side of them where it's just like, yeah, you need to calm that down. You need to calm that down. Have you ever been strapped down in the psych ward? If you would like to share your experience, let us know in the comment section. Do you feel that you deserved it, or did you feel like the staff was excessive? And what do you think about staff in the psych ward having to mandatorily be strapped down in order to be a person, to be a part of applying the restraints? I think that's a good clause. I don't know, but maybe I'm tripping. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And additionally, I am super excited to share with you guys, oh, I've been holding on to this, that I finally hopped on school, and I have an entire community for you guys that walks you through how to get through the psych wards. I'm talking to you just like this, same background and everything, about how to actually get through these psych wards. It's my psych ward survival guide, Becoming Alive. And not only do you get those courses and classes walking you through step by step on how to navigate, but you have community access of like-minded individuals who have maybe been through these circumstances. We know how much mental health is stigmatized online, and I'm glad that we have this comfortable space, whether you're looking on Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube, to talk about these things. But it's time to reel it in even closer and to join a community of people where you can engage in real discussions about your mental health experiences. You'll be able to have weekly discussions, have weekly wins where you're sharing your progress on things that you've been working on with people that will celebrate you and want to see you win. We even have a songs tab where you can share songs that have gotten you through and that are getting you through. And even a stories discussion tab where you'll be able to share your stories with the community so that people can read and react and respond, and you could do the same. And it's just a community of like-minded individuals who get it, that want to grow together. So it's completely free to join and get community access. But I also offer the courses, weekly hangout calls, and if you really are looking for some one-on-one guidance, you can also opt in to get that directly from me. And I'll go through your situation, talk to you one-on-one, where we'll walk together completely through some ways to best navigate your current mental health situation. I've been working on this behind the scenes for a while, but it's finally here. so you can join in my bio, and hopefully I'll see you over there. But come under your own will. I ain't strapping you down or nothing.
I pray you find your light, and I pray you find your light, and I pray you find your light. I pray, and I pray you find your light.